Okay, we are live. It is 2015, June 22nd. This is the e-NABLE R&D Hangout on air. And I guess I'll turn it over to whoever else is present. It looks like you were able to join, Matthew. Glad you made it.
Oh, thanks.
I think my biggest problem with the Hangouts tool is that it behaves differently in Windows than it does in Linux, and I switch back and forth between the two often enough that I'm not sure how it's going to behave with my current environment sometimes.
There's an easy solution to that. Get rid of your Windows.
Yeah, if my IDE didn't require it, I wouldn't ever boot up into it.
I got rid of Windows when Vista came out.
I managed to do without Windows for a good decade and a half, but the hardware I program these days requires Windows for the IDE to run. You can't function without it with the stuff I'm programming. But I managed to, I mean, I've been using Linux since like '95, and not real fond of Windows, but I got to use what puts money in my wallet. So, trying to get John Diamond connected. Let's see if this will work now. If the connection is working a little better. And no, still wrong one shows up in the list. It's not the one from my friends list, it's everybody else. I can do it from the other. Adjusting again. So, anybody have anything interesting to show or anything interesting to talk about?
Yeah, I got something. I posted the files for the field ready hand, both the left and right hand. I just put them up, I think, yesterday, and I sent a post, but I posted them on Thingiverse, and they're scaled for 55 millimeters, so they're like the standard size. And I printed out the set so they work. I'm kind of championing this thing. I think it's got a lot of practical use for overseas, particularly.
So it's got the thumb is rotated for a fully opposable grip. What else is different about this hand? What else are you?
Well, it can hold a pen.
Oh, right. I remember.
You know, and it's 100% 3D printed, no bungee cords or strings. Takes about 5 minutes to put together.
And it's all mechanical. Yeah.
Yeah, the fingers are like one piece, and the thumb is one piece, and it makes a finger grip really nice. Does a real good job of that.
Okay.
But I'm thinking for, you know, particularly third world countries, something that we could make quickly. It's supposed to take 8 hours to print. It's probably a small size. It took me, I forgot, something like 12 hours or something to print it.
Right.
But anyway, it's less time than most, and they don't even use Velcro. They were just using old torn garments that are like stretch, like the bottom of shorts and stuff, to just wrap around and either use a button or just tie it. You could use.
You were looking at the models for this a couple of weeks ago, right?
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, you see, when Field Ready put it on Thingiverse, the parts didn't fit. They were all messed up, but they were good. The parts were good, but they just weren't sized to fit together. The palm and the bracer were real teeny. You could almost, it was hard to even find them. So I sized them so they fit and printed that out and published that. Put it on Thingiverse and made a reference to it, and then I just came back the other day and made the right hand. They just had the left hand. I just inverted the parts and made it into a set for the right hand, and I printed it out to make sure it worked. And I did a lot of little cleanup adjustment things. The thumb was kind of rounded, and so it didn't print out very well. So I flattened one side. And just put all the parts in position so that you could just take them and print them all out at one time or individually, whatever you wanted to do. Just made it so that you didn't need to have a modeler to print it out if somebody wanted to make a bunch of them. But this is, to me, this is the first step in producing a full hand with fingers, individual fingers, that works entirely mechanically. One of the advantages of this is that there's no opposition. With no bungee cords, there's no opposition to it closing or opening. Yeah, it's just the friction.
Actuated.
Yeah, it's just the friction of the parts moving that's the resistance. So it actually, has some advantages in small hands and weak wrists and things like that. So. I think that's kind of neat.
The name of the designer, or the name of the designer group, was fully functional, or did they?
Say that again.
What was the name of the model? Is the functional?
Well, it's Field Ready is the organization that it was made for. They're a emergency ready organization.
Is this hand similar to another hand? Because John Wong mentioned that there was a woman that designed it.
Let's see, I got his name here, just a second. Let's see what it is. I have to find a name. It was a Josie something or other that made it for Field Ready.
All right.
Cool. Justine,
Yeah.
I was trying to send an invite to John, but his name doesn't come up in the list when I type it out. It doesn't come up in the list of John Diamonds. There's a lot of other John Diamonds that pop up, but for some reason I wasn't able to send him.
Hold on, let me grab him.
Okay. Well, he was wanting to join, and so I tried to send him an invite. I'm not sure why the invite didn't go through to him.
I don't know. He's watching.
Okay.
I don't know why it's not coming through.
I'm wondering if
it might be that he hasn't friended you. Put you in his circles or whatever they call it on Google+.
Yeah,
I'll check it out with him, but actually he'll be here. He'll be here via me.
That works as well.
Hang on.
And I've tried to send a few invites to B65,000.
Yeah.
But, I don't know if he's going to be able to join or not, but he was commenting on the thermoforming that you guys were doing 2 weeks ago that you guys were talking about. and he was wondering if anybody had messed around with like heat absorbing paste or keeping the dovetail intact while using a heat gun to make the wraparound parts of the vambrace fold around the arm a little more easily without distorting the. I was able to hear you a minute ago, Justine, but I don't hear you right now. Okay.
Huh. Okay. Sorry, I was finishing something up. What have I been doing? Mostly ordering stuff, because I was out of town for a week, didn't get a whole lot done. I've been playing around with bladders for fluid muscles.
Is that better?
Yeah,
I
Yes.
can hear you now. So,
we haven't tried anything like that. All we've done is the dip it in hot water technique that we
right.
did a little video on. I haven't tried anything else with the thermoforming. That's the only thing I've tried.
Okay. Cool enough. Yeah, he had posted a video on Dropbox showing he had basically printed a box. I'm not sure what he used. It may have been ABS or PLA. It was blue plastic, and when he would point looked like a blowtorch of some sort against the side of one of it, it would deform pretty rapidly and melt. But when he blew the torch against the segment that he had coated with heat-absorbing foam, it didn't seem to affect the plastic very much at all. I don't know if that's something we ought to find more information about and try experimenting with, or what. So these bladders, is it just a rubber tube, or are you?
Here, I'll grab the. So, I'm gonna have a big roll of that stuff. So the trouble. So normally, fluid muscles, for people that haven't been following this, is you have one of these Chinese finger trap type cable sleeves. I think they're like Kevlar or something ridiculous like that. So they're really tough. So you can put a fluid bladder of some sort in them, usually really tough rubber tubing in there, and you can pump a whole bunch of pressure into that bladder. It'll inflate, and then these expandable tubes have the highest volume when they're most of the way contracted like this. Not all the way, but most of the way. So what ends up happening is you pump pressure into it, and the bladder inflates, this contracts, and it acts like a one-way acting piston, but with actually much more power for a given hydraulic pressure than a piston, and they're also nice and soft, and they weigh next to nothing. So the trouble with it is normally they're used for places where you want really high strength and low weight. So like the DARPA humanoid robots have these things on them, and so to achieve high strength, low weight, they have this really hard to inflate, really thick rubber tube, and then one of these around it. So they're pumping like 3 atmospheres in before the tube even starts inflating, and then like a couple more, and then that's where they start to get better performance than pistons. So that's cool, but it's totally useless for us because there's no way we're putting like 6-bar hydraulics in anything people wear, and there's no way we're just creating that much power. We don't need it. So what I've been trying to do is make really low pressure fluid muscles, and so first I just tried to make the regular one that's on like Hackaday or something like, or Instructables maybe, with some rubber tubing they recommended online, but that was still really hard to inflate. So then I went to the other end of the spectrum and just got some like balloon animal balloons.
Right.
Those work, I'm worried that they'd wear down pretty quickly because this stuff's a little bit abrasive, and they
Right.
pop if you put them over pressure, which is not ideal.
Do you think you could double layer them?
That doesn't actually
Doesn't
do
help?
anything for you, I don't think. I did try that. So I've also got this dragon skin silicone here for coating the hand in, and it's silly expensive, and I don't think I'll actually want to use it. Well, okay. So what I'm going to try next is casting a bladder out of my silicone, because it won't use all that much. And I think that ought to work, because I mean I can just pick the right wall thickness to get my desired toughness, and that also makes it a lot easier to choose the length exactly how I like it, which would be nice.
Right.
And the end hope there, and this is all very hand wavy, but I'm hoping to eventually cast these muscles inside of the silicone arm, just for aesthetics' sake. It's a silly expensive idea, but yeah, one of the nice things about silicone is you can make it look like real flesh if you find a makeup artist, because special effects makeup is silicone.
Right.
But anyways, so the vague idea is that if I'm making the bladder out of silicone, I can perhaps do something more integrated and cool, essentially. So that's the fluid muscles thing. Nothing interesting has happened on the silicone hand because I just haven't worked on it. And then the only other thing is I've been ordering materials for I want to say, Evan, you have some funny noises going?
Hello.
Never,
Nice to meet everybody. Not me? Oh, all
I'm not
right.
sure who it was that had that noise in the background.
Oh, it might have been me. I had 2 screens running at the same time.
Okay, that might have done it.
Welcome, Evan.
It's gone now, right?
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
no worries. But yeah, I've been ordering parts for capacitive touch sensing, like Dan Oakes' paper from the Weiss Institute, which should be pretty cool. I had to pretend that I work in one of my friends at MIT's lab so that I could have free samples shipped to an academic address, but I'll find something that doesn't need free sampling if I make something worthwhile out of them. So yeah, hopefully in the reasonably near future I'll have fluid muscles that work, which will be good. I almost had some set up tonight to play with, just with the balloons, but I print failed. Well, yeah. Hopefully I'll have a silicone hand with touch sensors embedded in it, because those seem pretty straightforward to do. And yeah, that's most of what I'm up to.
Cool. Sorry, I'm so quiet. I'm still juggling, seeing who is receiving invites and who isn't.
Okay then. Evan, you just hanging around here? Did you have something to show? Or
I don't have anything with me currently. All of my stuff is still at work, but I figured I should start participating and saying hello and learning from you guys. It's probably the best decision on my part, and so I'm basically just here to learn. I have been working with the K1 and modifying some of the designs, or some quickly modifying things, so I can give it to you guys as soon as possible. It's done.
Okay.
However, 3D Systems won't let me release this until July 1st is their official release date.
That's okay.
And so if I release it to you guys before then, I get in trouble. But I have tested it to the point of basically it's now up to you guys to make some quick. What is that? Is that one of them?
Yeah. This is Rod. Yeah. I talked to you at the DC show.
Ah, how are you? You got
Good,
a whole one
good.
printed out then?
Yeah.
And so there are.
This is the one. This is the one you had at the show.
Oh, okay. That's the. I made some.
Center camera?
Say that again. Oh.
Yeah, put it in front of your face
Okay,
or near it.
it's a little bitty one. Can you see it?
Yeah, a little higher.
The pictures are much nicer.
Right.
It looks black.
Yeah, I see it.
It's not hard to see.
Well, this one's black. You can't see the real slick features on it. It's really quite impressive. I have one set of files on it. I printed out the thumb just to see if this joint would work. And at the DC show, we got to talk a little bit about it. You know, I have a suggestion for you on the finger.
All right. I need a lot of work on that.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. But let me just tell you, and you can do what you want with this. You know how you've got the joint, the tip, fingertip joint made as one assembly to connect to the next part.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it prints out as one joint.
Mm-hmm.
Am I being clear?
Yeah.
Well, my thought was, instead of doing it as a fused axle, actually put an axle through it, but make it, you know, fit perfectly. So when it prints, it will print solid. But then if you also have the axle as a part, if it breaks, you could drill it out and replace it.
That's true. Okay.
Just a thought. Yeah.
Oh no, I will. I need to. My plan had basically been to like get it to a certain point, and then release it to the community and let you guys do some R&D and testing and do all, because I don't have access to lots of children with missing limbs, and so at least not. I don't have enough access to like large quantities of these people that do some real decent R&D, and so I sent a picture out to 3D Systems, and they kind of jumped the gun on the marketing thing, and we were like, ah, and then really quickly kind of threw everything out, and so that was they moved my timeline by a lot.
Marketing tends to do that.
Yeah, I was not expecting that.
We weren't either.
Yeah, no, that was I had gotten to a point where someone had said, like, wait until we figure out the FDA issues, and then after we figure that out, then you can start mounting them to kids.
It's echoing, I think.
We good now? I was trying to talk through the echo, but it was very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they told me to stop and not do any further testing on it, and then all of a sudden they told me to release it, and so I apologize for those. They were not 100% ready, but I was forced to go through it anyways, and so the files that come out on July 1st will be. I've made some very quick changes that we filmed the assembly video today, and I was out of town most of last week, and so I didn't have a whole lot of time to do large changes like add the Whipple box. I can't think of its name exactly.
Whipple tree.
Yeah.
Whipple tree. Yeah, I haven't had enough time to add that, and so it's still. You have the file.
Yeah, I have a thought on that too, on the box. You basically have a little hole going through it where you were just connecting them, but putting the box right there so the pins just come out of the back might work.
Okay.
You know, instead of it being a big box on top, not changing your design, leaving your design the same so it's nice and round on top.
I would like to even play with the design as well. That was sort of like a first attempt at it all, and I've made some other hands for much nicer machines than any average person has access to, but the hands look slightly better than the one that I made, and so I would like to sit down and really do it once I get all of your input and figure out what needs to be changed, so I'm not completely flying in the dark anymore.
Is there some place I can send you changes that I've made?
Would you like to an email or actual physical files, or like physical parts?
No. Well, I have your files, at least the ones that you just an email to send
it
to.
Should I? I'll tap it.
Okay.
So, do you see the sidebar chat, Evan?
I just saw that just now.
Okay.
And I also do
Oh, great.
your field ready hand. I think it's Dara or Dara. I can never remember her name, but
Yeah.
I know her fairly well.
Uh-huh.
She's based out
Yeah,
here in San
she's the
Francisco.
founder of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But on your website, they show Josie as the designer who made it for them.
Okay. I had no idea who the designer was. She showed up the other day with that hand, and I had never seen it before.
Where are you located, Evan?
San Francisco.
Okay.
Yeah,
Most of the time.
That's where Autodesk is.
Yep, they are located 5 blocks from me. Andreas and I had dinner the other day.
Ah, nice.
It's not a very far walk from one another's office.
Yeah, glad you guys are hooked up.
Yeah, I had met him before. I met him a few months ago when I was working with. So I had my little bit of history. I've been working with Limitless since August. And I have been their designer since August. So I've made all of their arms since then. And so that was. I'm not entirely new to the e-NABLE community. This is not a brand new. I've been working for Limitless, or sort of working, volunteering for Limitless for longer than I have been working for 3D Systems. And so that was 3D Systems is a relatively new change in my work. Flash school.
All kinds of wonderful things have been coming out of the Limitless group, I'll tell you.
Yeah. It is. They are good. I'm actually going to go down to see them in July, I think. Sometime in July.
Cool.
Well, tell them the rest of us say hi.
Yeah.
Will do. Of course, will do.
Last time we had them on this was when they made their big announcement when they first did their functional arm for, I can't remember who that was printed for. The little boy that's in the Robert Downey Jr. video.
Alex. Yep.
Yeah.
Alex.
Yep. That was I did all the design for that arm.
Yeah. Well, the original arm that they did before that Alex had, the white arm, that was...
the white box.
Yeah. When they first announced that with that hand, they gave an early announcement and an early show and tell of that hand on one of our hangouts, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I have one of their. I have an older version of their electronics, not as old as not as old as the original, the one out of the white box, but I have like version 3, I think.
Right.
They're on now version 4 or 5, one of the two, of just the electronics on the inside.
Cool. I've been wanting to invite the guy over at that designs the EMG sensors that you guys are using.
I know who you're talking about, but I can't remember. They've got a Kickstarter going right now with a new EMG sensor, actually, that looks fantastic. But I cannot remember their name. Accutrans? Something like that? I might have made that up.
Evan, we have a myoelectric category in the Google Plus community, and if you'd like to, you could post their Kickstarter in there.
Okay, I will definitely do that.
Yeah, since it has to do with myoelectric stuff.
Yeah, I remember I saw it. I didn't see it through Limitless. I was just browsing the Kickstarter pages, and all of a sudden showed up and was like, hey, this is exactly what we're using. And so I assume we'll be incorporating it or something. But I'll definitely post it.
Thank you.
I will say I am not the engineer on this side. I don't know a whole lot about engineering or mechanics. I originally studied engineering, but I was not a very good engineer. I'm a much better designer than I am engineer, and so I accept all criticism when it comes to this not working or something not working, because there is a good possibility I don't know what I'm doing, and so I'm sort of just kind of boy.
It was Brian.
Kind of just going for it.
What did you say?
His name is Brian Kaminsky.
Brian Kaminsky.
Advancer, I think is the name of the...
Advancer. There. Yep. That's. I knew it started with an A.
And what does he do?
He's the guy that does the EMG sensors that Limitless are using.
I'm taking notes.
Is there anything posted on the Limitless recently, other than that original thing that was on Thingiverse?
They have a website. I think they've been updating in there.
But I don't think I think their electronics is, I honestly haven't paid a whole lot of attention to the electronics, but I assume it's probably just an updated list of electronics to purchase if you would like to try it. Beyond that, I don't know. I can look through their website right now and send the link over, but I have not actually looked through their website for this.
Okay.
Cool. Well, glad to finally meet you, Evan.
Yeah, it was glad to be here. I tried to I had been trying to sort of talk on, I think it was Friday, right? That was the last community meeting.
Yeah.
But I ended up just watching that one, so I figured I would do my best to try and to at least show my face for a little bit of time in one of these meetings.
Thank you.
And so, yeah, no, I figured it would go for the best.
Yeah, we kind of take notes in the sidebar chat, but we also communicate with each other during these things in there too.
Okay.
We tend to try to capture, copy and paste what's in the sidebar chat and put it into a Google document. It's kind of cool with Google Documents. All the avatars with people's names show up.
Okay, that's really useful.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to sit there and recopy out everything, or okay.
Yeah, and it stays
with the Windows and the Chromos versions of the Hangout app don't seem to allow us to copy and paste. So I often have to have somebody else do the copying and pasting of the sidebar chat into Google Documents, which is kind of annoying.
As do I.
So the issue's on Chrome, not Internet Explorer. Something like the issue comes from Chrome.
Well,
it's the Hangout app, but the Hangout app for the Chrome OS,
yeah,
not the Chrome browser.
Okay.
And the client for the Windows with the Chrome browser. But with the Linux and the Chrome browser, I'm able to do the copy and paste just fine. I just happened to be developing on my Windows side today, and I wasn't able to reboot into Windows before this all, or into Linux before this all started.
Okay.
Yep.
So I've been looking around the what's it called, the Limitless website, and I don't see any updates on the electronics at all. Period. And so I might be looking in the wrong spot. I'll ask one of the people there to see if actually, let's see. But I'll ask someone to see if there is actually electronics posted or not. There's a lot of images, but I don't see any like here's all the parts or anything like that.
Right. I've been looking at a lot of the people that have been using like a cell phone to parse the signal from an EMG sensor.
I like that one much better. The people out of Japan, right? Handy.
I think so.
Yeah.
And they seem to be able to detect which finger is moving, which struck me as kind of interesting.
Yeah, no, they have. I think that's probably in the end the slightly better system than trying to do it all on the arm, because then you just need sensors and a receiver in the hand versus an entire piece of electronics that's varying in length. But that is for time to tell, I guess. I saw Andreas had one of those hands. They gave him, I guess Andreas met them at some conference or something like that, and they gave him one of their hands. And so I got to see it actually function, and it's not EMG. It's some sort of laser system that measures how much your skin moves when you flex your muscle.
Wow.
So I have no idea. You could some technical term for basically lasers measuring the distance like the gap between your skin and the end of the sensor, and so when you flex, and of course your muscle moves a little bit, and so it measures that difference. But it seemed pretty well. It seemed to work just fine, and it only required one sensor, where Limitless's requires 3. And so it was an interesting sort of other way of doing it. And I think theirs also runs on a cell phone. But
Yeah.
their hand was much more complicated. It required, the hinge mechanism is really cool, but very complicated, and has a lot of moving parts and a lot of, I don't want to say unnecessary. They might be totally necessary, but it seemed like a lot of parts that can't be produced on printer, and so a lot of sort of, unless you buy it from them, you have to do a lot of outsourcing yourself and getting specifically like some strange diameter of pin or something like that. And so I'm not the greatest, or I'm not the biggest fan of parts that are hard to find.
Yeah, high level of complexity.
Yeah.
You have to, can't just print everything. You have to special order a lot of the specially sized pieces. And
But yeah, they had some gears in there that looked like custom gears that they made themselves on a laser cutter or something like that. That was just adding another, like, it was very cool. Don't get me wrong, super cool hand, but a lot of strange little details that were like, what if this breaks and you're not near a laser cutter, or any
Right.
number of things.
don't have lots of backups to.
Yeah, there was, each finger probably had 15 different little pieces in it that held it all together. And so it was definitely like a nice complicated piece of mechanics, but not the greatest if you're going for simplicity.
Right. And easily serviceable.
Yeah, no, not easily serviceable. But it did function very well, I will say. I was impressed with the functioning. And it's very elegantly designed throughout. The buttons are hidden, and the electronics are all integrated and nice and smoothed over. And they spent some time on that part.
And the other thing that's been big have been the, it looks like 2 or 3 different small hands designed for women have been being posted a lot lately.
There's a possibility they may have all been me, and I'm not exactly sure. There was the BBionic,
Yes.
but I know Dara's been posting stuff about the first arm that I made a long time ago that was for a girl in my interior design class, but it didn't work. But it looks like it might work, and so there's a sort of, it's been kind of floating around the internet lately.
Well,
And so there's,
sorry.
no, keep going.
Yeah. John posted angels waving at people, and I posted her longer one, and then I also found the other one. I think it's either the BBionic or the iLim. It was the woman, the model, who was on Fox News.
Angel, yeah. I know
No,
Angel.
This is
isn't, okay.
Yeah,
There was
so
Angel, and there was another model who was doing stuff.
No, Angel's an actress. She was in Catching Fire, was it?
Yep.
Yeah.
That
So
was I would love to see specifically how the BBionic hand was designed specifically for women, other than just being scaled a little bit smaller.
They were
Because I don't.
The videos were talking about that they were using a skeleton inside that was a lot more closely mimicking an actual skeleton. I don't know what they meant by that, though. I don't know if they actually modeled an actual skeleton or if they just made sure that the finger motions were happening in the same place that the joints on a real skeleton would happen.
Okay. Would love to. One of these days, whenever we have the next meeting, I'll show you I'll bring with me. I don't think I have it here. No, I'll bring with you I made a hand to be printed on our giant SLS machine, which is like lasers and powder and super fantastic, and what 3D printing should be, because there's no limitations anymore at that level. But I made a hand that was really closely mimicked a full skeleton. I don't have a way of powering it, is my issue, since I'm not the greatest engineer in the whole world. but it has, in theory, full dexterity. It'll do everything your hand will do. It'll hold every position. It'll do everything, except I don't know how to like connect your brain to the hand so that it's actually functioning. And so there is that problem. But the hand is ready to go. If someone wants to take over the how to wire it up and get everything else working,
Send me a link.
I will definitely. I can send. I have some renderings on my website. I can send you the link to.
Okay.
And then eventually, I would also like to metal plate it, but that's aside. But you'll see those pictures as well because they're on my website.
I've just I've got a few upgrades I'm about to do to my printer. There's a new dual extruder for the Maker Farm i3 or Prusa IV3 that I'm going to want to play with sometime soon. And if I'm doing dual extruding, then that starts me thinking about playing around with the conductive filament and see what game can be played with that. But as an aside, if I'm printing with conductive filament, that makes me wonder how hard it would be to electroplate it.
Probably not that hard. 3D Systems is sadly the slowest developer of filament on the planet. Unrelated to my employment in 3D Systems, we're not very quick at pumping these things out. And so I would love to start playing with some electroplate, like electrofilament, and all the different cool filaments. We're just now starting to get NinjaFlex in the next few weeks. And so now I can actually start playing it. I have a broken MakerBot in my room, but the broken MakerBot is really no better than a coffee table, and so.
Except you can't put stuff on it, so.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. The link I posted just a second ago with the Google Docs document, it's empty at the moment, but it's anybody that has a link can edit it. If somebody can copy and paste what's in the sidebar chat into that, that would be helpful. Since I'm not able to do that today.
Yeah.
How do I? I'll give it a try. I think I got it.
Yeah, if you can select, then you can.
Got it. I got it. So how do I should just save this then?
Just copy it, and if you click on the Google Docs link I just posted, you should be able to paste into it.
But then I should, once I've done that, should I just save the file, or how does it work?
It's automatically saved.
Oh, I'm new to this Google Docs thing. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it looks
That's
great.
even better.
Yeah, Evan, hit me up if you want to get a tour of various things on Google Plus, because that's kind of what I do.
Okay, yeah, no, definitely. I've explored the Google Plus when it first came out, like 4 years ago.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
a
sat
little
there and was. Keep going.
It's a little different now. You beat me by about 6 months.
Ah, that was the. I mean, when it first came out, I got an invite to it, and I was really excited. And was like, haha, the new Facebook. And I posted some things, and then no one came on for like 4 years.
Yeah, I've been trying to explain to all of my friends and family who are still on Facebook that the big difference on Google Plus is that it's not, you don't need to agree to somebody who wants to follow you. It's asymmetric, so anybody that wants to follow anybody can. And if you want to get a lot out of Google Plus, you go and follow people you're interested in seeing what they have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Find your hobbies and see what communities you can find, and then the interesting people who are posting lots of interesting things into those communities, add them to your circles, and you'll start seeing a lot of interesting things come up.
Yeah.
Okay. That was what I tried to do with Facebook when I deleted my Facebook and then was like, I can sort of hand sculpt what news and media and stuff I get. And so if I just go through and carefully click on everything, I can a little bit. It didn't work great, but you can definitely do some sculpting of your media.
Yep.
Yeah, mostly Facebook is where I go to get lectured by my parents.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I try and avoid Facebook as much as possible.
Yeah. Let's see. And the other tricky thing with Hangouts on Air is since your own video image is mirrored, so that you're looking, so you feel like you can look at yourself. Keep in mind that what you're showing, or what you're seeing with the faces in the lower lower right-hand corner, imagine that's the lower left-hand corner instead. So if you're picking something up and you want to be able to see it, and you want to post it someplace where it's visual, and you don't want it to have the things in the lower right-hand corner get in the way of it.
Okay, so I have like up here is my category, right? I'm missing the little stuff.
Right.
Shouldn't this?
What?
This is bad. You can't even see what I'm doing, can you?
Nope.
Nope.
Actually,
So,
right there, it's fine.
Right there, but like down
If you
here,
put it
nothing.
on the right-hand side, I can still see it.
Okay.
If you move it over to the, yeah, it's counterintuitive. If you put it in the side of the screen, the faces are in the way. Yeah, now it's being blocked by the icons.
Interesting. All right, so it is totally mirrored. You're right.
Yeah, your image is mirrored. So if you want us to see it, you need to put it, ironically, where the icons seem to be blocking your ability to see yourself. Or put it up higher.
I just tell people put stuff in front of their face, and that works pretty good.
Yeah, this works well. I can just talk and point.
Okay,
so, Evan, did you see the thing in the sidebar chat about our forum?
Yes.
Okay.
This the enable forums enabling.org Brian Kaminsky Advancer EMG sensor for the arm.
right.
Forums.enablingthefuture.org
is a website that is a forum that you can post things to related to whatever projects you're on.
Okay.
And it doesn't do notifications as well as Google Plus does, but it allows pictures and comments that are being posted, and it allows a lot of other things that make it a little bit better of a space for posting conversations about designs.
Yeah, so it's our R&D forum and our beta testing forum at this point.
Okay. So I will be taking advantage of that then.
Yeah,
yes,
we'll probably be expanding out from there later, but right now it's just R&D and beta testing. Yeah, we try to keep the more detailed R&D discussions in the forum, but then people, what they do is they announce it in the Google Plus forum and Google Plus community with a link to the forum posts.
Okay. All right. I will take a look. I'll dig through all of those forums one of these days this week and try and brush up on all of the. I had to sit down and read the entire Enable community.
Oh dear.
Discussions over all the stuff that was public for a while. That was all I did on last Thursday, was just sit down and read everything that's been said. There is.
Yeah, it takes the lion's share of my time to keep up on everything. That's part of what I.
That was the worst part. Was like, oh, there's something new, so I have to go back up and read that, and then go back down like 6 pages and figure this out next.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know you can search the Google community as well?
I tried, but it didn't. I was trying to search for the Whipple tree, but it didn't come up. I may have spelled it wrong, which could have been why, but
don't use the search bar at the top of the page. Use the one on the left-hand side of the page.
Yeah, the one underneath the picture.
So Control F is not a good way of searching it.
No.
No, because you don't see what hasn't been loaded onto the page yet.
Okay, yeah, no, I was like Control F Whipple tree. Nothing came up.
No.
All right,
Well,
that makes sense. Okay.
If you're in the community, if you go to the left-hand side, right under the picture that talks about the forum, there's a little search bar there that allows you to search for more detailed information that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, see, these are the kinds of things that we could teach you offline.
Mm-hmm.
So, but what I was going to ask you is, would you be willing to start a new topic in our forum for the K1?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, and
I will do that tomorrow at some point or something along those lines. I'll post photos. I'm assuming photos and some instructions.
Yeah,
we're going to come out with a nice video for it as well. I don't really know why we needed to do such a nice assembly video, but there will be a very nice, well-shot assembly video of my hands putting them together because we spent 4 hours doing that today.
Yep. That's their deal.
Yep. It was like, e-NABLE's been doing fine with just a video, like some guy shot it himself in his basement, and they are doing absolutely fantastic. I don't know why we need to put, like, we had, like, 3 people come in, and there was a producer, and ridiculous things. It's like, this is pointless, but...
Yeah, it's what they're used to. It's their 3D systems. They're a big company. It's how they do things.
It is.
You could
But
put
I
a
would.
thermoforming video to shame, where we did that. One person filming on a phone in our kitchen.
Yeah, no, that's the better. I did it. I had the video that was filmed, like that was part of the release. That one that like really quickly went through everything and was like, change your life or something along those lines. It was my friend and I filming it on the kitchen counter or on one of the tables in 3D one day, and we didn't know that was going to be used as the public. Like that video, we just filmed it because they wanted like a thing so they could send to a film crew and have them write a script or something strange like that.
Mm-mm.
Oh well, I don't get to make those decisions.
Yeah.
I'm just along for the ride.
Yeah, the quick video of people doing things on their tables or doing things in their whatever kind of lab they have, that stuff is a lot of fun because it can be produced very, very quickly and get the ideas out. But I do understand a large company wanting to take the time and effort to make a very, very pretty video that has a lot of careful editing being done with it.
I could see that too, if Cubify had been like selling 1 million printers and we were doing super amazing and fantastic. But I don't know anybody who owns a Cube other than us. And so, but oh well, they're good printers. But I don't know of many people who bought them. But anyways,
Yeah, the only problem with the Cube is that cartridge. That you're stuck with a cartridge. Yeah, I don't know why they did that.
I think they shot themselves in the foot
machine.
with that one move. Yeah, no, when it prints, prints like some of the best ones out there. When it prints, and that's the issue and it only ever fails due to the cartridge. And so I hope at some point we either get rid of the cartridge, or we somehow make the cartridge so amazing that it's actually like worth buying. Currently, standard filament is just as good as our cartridge, and it doesn't cost as much. And so I don't know how we're able to compete there. That seems sort of like a strange.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure, but again, I don't make those decisions, so.
Yeah, again, it could be a paradigm problem because people are used to doing proprietary things, and so that's what they were attempting to do. And with printer ink for 2D printers, I mean, people are always doing that. Like, we don't want this to be useful for anybody except for us. It's like.
It makes sense. But no one else is really making 2D printer ink. There's a lot of people making glass filament, and so it seems like a losing battle in the end. But it'll take some time. Maybe we'll stumble upon something amazing with cartridges that like make you be able to print gold.
If cartridges would allow you to load. Reload them with whatever filament you bought on the open market, I could see them being.
You can almost do that. It's not 3D Systems approved, but you can totally just rip apart the cartridge and start loading in your own filament.
I've seen videos where people are advertising that they're doing that. So yeah.
Yeah, the XYZ printing with their DaVinci, they've got a cartridge system too. I've bought a lot of their filament, and then I just dissect their cartridge to pull the filament. They've got a standard spool inside their filament cartridge, which I don't know.
We did ours really weird, and we kind of, for some reason, we decided to rethink everything when it came to the Cube 3, and so it's got normally the filament is pulled basically by a motor that's directly right next to the extruder head, so it's basically pulling the filament through. Our motor that drives the filament is basically in the cartridge, and so it's like pushing on the end of a piece of spaghetti instead of pulling it all the way through. So it's harder to hack. You can do it, but it is definitely like to
An
hack.
old-
There's
there was
easier
an old
machine.
joke
The
my dad
Cube
used to
2s
tell
work
me.
much better.
I'm about to share a dad joke. He used to say, the guy was walking down the street dragging a really long chain. So he asked him, "Why are you dragging that chain?" He said, "Have you ever tried to push one?"
I mean, you have our #1 issue right there in that joke.
Yeah.
That is our biggest, like, why it was a cool attempt. I'm glad we tried it. It's time to go back to the way that works, but we'll see. This is not for me as a 3D Systems employee. This is me as a regular person who happens to work all day long with Cube 3 printers. But
Yes.
I can understand the desire for a proprietary cartridge. But that means that you have to be on top of all the new filament manufacturers so that you can create a filament cartridge that contains every new type of filament that exists, because otherwise people aren't able to play with the cutting edge new filaments from.
we are learning that right now. We're trying to put Plexi or Ninja Flex into our cartridges, and it's a slightly different diameter, and things don't work anymore, and so they have to redesign some stuff. And this was like, you could just solve this problem by not doing this. Like,
also, the fact that the filament is so much more flexible, I would imagine that the pushing a chain problem.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Oh yes. We are running into all of those issues that would be expected, but we're trying to be different, and so, but oh well.
Trying to make money.
Yeah, that is the problem. There's other ways to make money than do stuff that makes people hate you, and so.
Yeah.
Proprietary stuff is always about money.
Yeah.
Steve Wood has a lot of videos that he's posted explaining the kind of things he has to do in order to use Filaflex, and the requirements with the extruder being right next to the hot end with no gap has been an interesting thing to read about, because with the flexible filaments it tends to fold really easy right at that spot.
Oh, I can imagine. I'm jealous of his work. He gets access. He has a bunch of different printers, and he can stick filaments in it. And I follow him on Facebook, and I see his, like, now I'm printing Ninja Flex and ABS at the same time, and I'm like, I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
Not allowed to.
I'm using a kit printer. One of the Maker Farm is the name of the guy, or the name of the company, I guess. It's seems to be one guy working out of his garage up in Utah somewhere, and they're decent printers, and you definitely will learn how all the parts inside of a printer work when you build it from a kit.
That's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
I did the reverse and bought a Replicator 2 when they first came out on the market, like the first line that was ever built. And it worked great for about 500 hours, and then I ended up disassembling the whole thing and putting it back together like 15 times to get it working again. And so that was my introduction to how to build a 3D printer. But I would I've seen like rip-off MakerBot printers out of China and stuff like that print fantastic for no money at all, and I'm like, why is MakerBot stuff like $2,000 or $1,000? You know, it's not that much better. It's not $1,000 better, and so, but oh well. How do you like your Maker Farm?
It's not bad. I haven't done as much printing on it as I would like to. I had to move it into another room, and I don't have the space there to do the printing. Last summer when my parents came back from Alaska, so I also overheated. I had a fan go bad on the hot end, and that caused the plastic printed filament on the extruder got a little bit melty. So now whenever I load new filament, I have to disassemble the entire extruder and make sure that I feed it into the hot end correctly, and then reassemble it. And that's been kind of a pain in the ass. But I just ordered a replacement print of the extruder, and I'm going to swap that in, and that should make the prints go a lot smoother. And then I'll spend a little time actually I hate it when words go away in my head. Fine-tuning the extruder so that it puts the filament through at the right speed, so that I don't it put too much out or put too little out. Calibrating, that's the word.
I'm so glad I've never had to deal with that, because that would get too tedious for me very quickly, and I would give up or have to do something else.
Thanks for joining us, Matthew.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for joining us, Matthew McGinnis. Good to have more people present.
Yep. Take care, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
The downside of living in a time zone that is close to the West Coast is it gets way past people's bedtime on the East Coast pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yay for the West Coast, though. Look, there's still sun outside.
Yep.
So like,
Well, it's pretty dark here.
yeah, it's today's been
It's
really
11:30 at
warm.
night, so.
So, do we have any more topics, or can I show Evan something, and maybe Justine might like to show off their hands they've been working on?
Yes, please.
Okay. So all I have at the moment, my hand is kind of busy. It's kind of somewhere I can't get to. So I just wanted to show you. This is Trinket 1.0.
I like the tendons in it.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
This is we may have a different logo soon, but this is sort of unofficially what's been our logo for quite a while.
I like it. It's a fantastic logo.
Yeah, so Justine and family have done a whole lot of stuff for us lately, and one thing they did, her daughter made this into Trinket 2.0, which is a paperclip.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Very cool.
What?
I don't have one here. Do you have one of the paper? You don't have one of the paper clips, do you?
No, we'll have to deal with pictures, unfortunately.
I had a whole bag of them, but I gave them to John Shulam last week.
Right.
Oh, wait, I have seen these paper clips then, because I was at the Maker Faire last week, and I remember playing with a whole bag of them.
Those were ours.
Oh, okay. So I met you at the Maker Faire then.
You were in DC with them?
I was.
I wasn't in DC, but my demo hands and my paper clips were there.
Okay.
You were in New York, though, right?
Me?
Her.
Oh.
Both of you.
I was in New York. I was in New York at an iMaker Space lecture last Monday.
Yeah. So, what the hands that John and Justine have printed out recently, they have pretty much all the innovations that we've gotten recently on the Raptor Reloaded.
Okay.
So
Right. They've got, if you've read anything about the dental band fingers, which is Jason Bryant out in China. Well, he's coming back to the States. When is he coming back? This week? On Saturday. He's been doing the thing with dental bands, so our demo hands have the dental bands. And then I don't have one here, but we've done his new Phoenix hand, too.
yeah, that's a cool one. Yeah, all that stuff is on the forum, but I was just kind of hoping maybe we could show you stuff tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you get a chance, Evan, see if you can look up any of the finger designs that Jason Bryant has been doing.
All right.
There's been a lot of little changes to the fingers that make them grab things better.
You know what? We've got John and I did a video demonstrating how that works. Let me see if I can grab the link to it. Hang on.
All right. I got my hand to pick up a flash drive yesterday when I put it together, and so that was the most delicate thing I've been able to pick up consistently.
Very cool.
Was just a little flash drive, but that may have been more me like fine-tuning the tendons and getting it just to close just right, so the fingers come together like that, or they just
right.
pass before each other, so I could get a little flash drive or something like that. I couldn't do anything with it once I picked it up.
The neatest thing I've seen picked up with one of the Jason Bryant fingers was like a coin on a flat surface.
Ooh, I can't even do that with my normal hand.
Yeah. Yeah, it had the nice pinch right in the middle of it. Oh, we had
Yeah.
B65000 was with us for a second.
He'll probably come back.
Cool.
So yeah, you mean this grip?
Yeah. No, flat side. No, on the edges.
Oh, like that, like I was doing?
Yeah, but picking it up off of the table like that, reaching down, grabbing a coin sideways, and
Huh. Yeah, I usually just grab it with my finger and pull it till I can get it like this, and then I turn it around.
find an edge of the table.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, so there's
So
just
That's
thing.
the link to showing the Raptor Reloaded with dental band fingers grip compared to the Phoenix grip. That link that I just stuck up there in the chat window.
Okay. I'm gonna share a screen and open it up.
All right.
Need to open it up first. All right. So here's the link. Right, this is showing picking up objects. Okay. It's probably not going to show real well if I'm showing it inside of Hangout. It'll probably be really jumpy.
Yeah, it might be easier for people to go and see it.
Yeah, actually go click on the
When they
link
get time.
directly. Is that John? That's
Yeah, that's John.
okay.
Yeah, Johnny Nine Fingers.
Got 9 fingers also.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the reasons we got involved, because we read an article and he'd already cut one finger off on a table saw, so we kind of thought, oh, let's see what.
See if we have options. Yeah, mine's birth defect.
No, this was carelessness.
It was an extreme manicure.
Accidents happen.
Manicure. But most importantly, with the Phoenix hand, it really, all of the fingers engage really well, even with picking up like a liter bottle of soda. It works really well.
Right.
And he's changed the design again. So we're just in the middle of printing out the latest copy, the latest version. With a 5.
All the subtle changes.
He's using
minor
basically a
changes.
Skip Meets Whippletree box, right?
Yeah, the Whippletree box is really cool.
That's not on the hand that he's demonstrating right now, but on this hand.
It's on the, yeah, that hand, the black and blue hand. So you'll see.
Yeah, that.
Oh yeah, that's so much nicer.
Yeah, I just got a good view of the little areas where they changed the finger joints so that they could put the dental bands on.
Yeah, on the
and
back
you'll
side.
see when he picks up the big bottle, that it really makes a big difference.
I have to download this Whipple and play with it.
Yeah.
I'm super curious as to how it works.
It is so elegantly simple. It is unbelievably simple. It goes back apparently to
Horses.
yeah, horse-drawn carriages where they had multiple horses pulling a carriage, and it was a way of distributing the force amongst the horses so that they didn't fight each other. And that's just been embodied in an incredibly simple design that's very effective.
Yeah, there's a lot about the Whipple tree and the other things on the forum, so you'll be able to read up on that pretty well that way.
Oh, I see how it. All right, so it's literally called a Whipple tree. That's not our name. That's just the name for the mechanism.
Yeah, it's a standardized mechanism.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Interesting. Oh, now I
It's
gotta
really
print
an
it.
AI mechanism.
Mhm.
I can see a quick diagram on the internet. I gotta print it out. That's cool.
But if you actually look at the Jason Bryant design, the whole thing is just one triangular block with holes tunneled through it that's just tied to a post. And that one block does the distribution of the load across the 4 strands, the 4 tendons. It's so elegantly simple, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Where can I download this file?
You go to the beta test section of the e-NABLE forum.
I'm just going to find it for you.
Yeah, then there's a whole set. If you just go to the Phoenix hand section, you'll find a download link to the Dropbox, and in there is a dedicated folder for the gripper box, which includes the Whipple tree. So basically, look in the forums under beta test.
Where is it? Phoenix Hand, right?
Yeah. In fact, there's a dedicated section as well if you go back.
Yeah.
Dedicated section on gripper box.
Yeah, basically we have people start a new topic about something underneath one of the subforums, and then it goes from there. So in some fashion, pretty much all the development of the Phoenix and the other newer things has happened on the forum.
Okay.
And that's not to be confused with the Google Plus community.
Yeah. It's the forum on the,
Here's a link to.
it's a PHPVD forum.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I can help you get things set up so that you can get the notifications when new things happen in whatever forum.
Yeah. Demonstrate that in a non-Hangout environment if you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or not non-Hangout, but not recorded Hangout.
Yeah, non-HOA.
And then that next link I just put up is the one to the gripper box.
Oh, specifically the gripper box?
Yeah.
It works. Okay.
It's amazing.
Interesting. All right. I got to start playing with this.
Oh, you're going to love it.
I'll print it out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Wiring it up and everything, Jason's got some really good instructions, which I'm not sure where they are, but I'm sure they're there somewhere.
I see the instructions. They were in the folder.
Okay.
So, Justine, the hardware stuff for the Phoenix hand, is it the same as for the Raptor or the Cyborg Beast? Could he get it from 3D Universe?
He can get everything he needs except the dental bands.
Right. Okay.
I seem to have basically the full list of everything here. I'm just going to download it all
Might as well.
and then print it all out tomorrow. We have the resources after all.
Yeah.
I might as
That was your lack of printing equipment.
Yeah, that is the one benefit.
Mhm.
I get to deal with lots of other things, but I do get to print for free, and so.
Yep.
Yeah, click on my face again. If you click on my face in the lower hand part of the screen, it'll make it stick with me so that when I'm doing something, it doesn't follow whose voice is loudest. If you click it again, it goes back to the old mode.
Okay, interesting. Mine was just stuck on your face for the entire time I've been talking to you, actually.
Okay.
It's only ever been you, and so it doesn't switch. It just now started to switch. And
So you unselected it. So
Okay.
cool.
Oh, I see the little white box around it. Okay.
So if you
Oh,
see,
now I know how to unselect that. I never knew. I knew how to get into that mode, and I never knew how to get out. So now I know.
yeah, it's just click the thing. So if you look at my thing right now, I'm going to show you where the search tool is for the community. In the left-hand side underneath the picture. And that'll take you to all the different...
Okay.
A topic that gets discussed a lot lately. If you scroll back far enough, you'll find a lot of the original Skip Mead's posts where he shows how things
Skid
work.
Mead.
Yeah,
No,
skip.
not Sid. Not Sid Mead. Skid Mead.
No,
Sky
Skip
D.
Mead.
Skid. Okay, got it.
Yep.
And let's see if I can find good. There's one view of the hand showing it from the side, showing the whipple tree. You see it right in the big arrow pointing at it with the label whipple tree.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. All right.
And there's a picture of it laid out. Basically, a pair of pulleys that the tendons go around, and that way each of the fingers can slide differently as the tension's pulled back.
I have a question, actually.
Okay.
Do you guys have more success with, or for instance, all the tendons on the back of the hand are basically exposed, and there was it's not the Phoenix hand. I can't remember the name of the hand. I recently saw a hand with the tendon all internalized. Is there a reason why you've been favoring exposed tendons versus internal?
Mostly easier to thread.
Okay, good enough. That's why I did it as well.
Although,
and it's not like that because they're internal.
right.
The Phoenix hand?
On the Phoenix hand.
That must have
Right.
been the one I saw then.
If you look for any of Peregrine's hands, he's got the talon. He's the with lots of leather.
Is his name Peregrine?
Yeah.
Peregrine Falcon.
His name, not his son.
No, the Peregrine is the son.
Okay.
Peter is the father.
Peter. All right. That was because I met Peter at the Maker Faire and I talked to him for a long time, but I could never remember exactly. Okay, got it. Got it.
And he joins us on these hangouts quite a bit. His hand design doesn't have any rubber bands in it. It's he's gone to an effort to simulate a Bowden cable, where he's got enough things going over the back of the filament that he's using for pulling the fingers, so that when he extends it, it pushes the fingers out, and when he pulls it,
I saw that. He's using like 250, 300-pound test fishing line to do
something
that.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It was. I would like to play with that as well. That seemed like a pretty elegant solution.
Yeah. I don't know how well that would work with a whipple tree, as far as distributing the grip.
Probably not at all, but.
But as far as a low tension hand motion system, something that you don't have to put a lot of strength to grip things, it works really well. And he does a lot of like using brooms and using rakes and things like that, where he's doing hard yard work kind of stuff with his hand. And,
Yeah.
Okay.
He had a job. He had a job at a packing company lifting boxes as well.
Right. And so not having the elastics to resist his attempt to grab things makes it a lot easier to hold on to something for a longer period of time. If the only thing that's resisting you is the thing you're grabbing, you don't tire your muscles out as quickly.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Peregrine Hawthorne and Peter Binkley.
Yeah, did you mention just now the fact that Peregrine mentioned the difference between the normal way and the Bowden way was no resting tension either?
No what?
No resting tension. You know, when he wasn't actually doing anything, he didn't have to pull against anything. It just kind of flopped around wherever it wanted to, or not. So there's a little bit of tension even when you're resting using the hands, apparently.
Cool.
Welcome.
Hey, welcome. What should I call you? B65,000.
What?
Oh.
Silence.
Maybe he doesn't have a. Maybe he doesn't have a
microphone.
Microphone, yeah.
That's
Right, back
possible.
to, if you've got a second, I've got actually one of Jason's palms for the Phoenix, which has the tendons inside, and then a regular Raptor, which has it outside. So I can just show you those real quick if you want, Evan.
Please do.
All right.
Yes, please.
Yeah, any show and tell is great for everybody because that's what we like.
A little close. Okay, so this is Jason's this is the newest version of the palm from Jason's newest.
Just a little farther to your right and a little farther back.
Yeah.
Okay, a little back.
And to your right. Your right.
My right, which way?
There you go.
That way. Yes.
And up maybe just a little. There you go.
Up.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, so here you can see that they thread right through.
Nice.
The support is still in here in the back, so. But
Right.
we haven't broken that out yet. But you'll see also here the fingers aren't lined up straight, and the thumb is at a different angle. So if you compare that to, this is what the Raptor's like.
Where everything's
Everything is
open.
straight.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Is that good? And the it gets strung on the outside.
And the thumb is at a different angle than
And the thumb, yeah, wait. Oops.
Yeah, not as opposed.
Yeah.
So you don't get the same grip. Okay?
So the tendons, the little orthodontic tendons
Yeah,
rubber
let me see
ends
if I can
are
get
on
that so
every
you can
knuckle.
see that.
What?
I'm trying to get.
So they're on the first set of knuckles. Are they also on the second set?
Yes, they're
Yes.
here and here.
Okay.
Yeah, there's pictures of a black hand with yellow bands in our group, and it's excellent to show you that.
Right, and we've used two different. The ones here are different strength than the ones here.
With different
Oh.
lengths.
Different lengths. So we've used two
Right.
different bands.
That way the fingers start to curl
Yeah,
near the tip
so-
before they curl at the
Hang on.
end of the palm.
I can show that. Okay, let me try and do this.
Sideways.
Okay.
I need to have someone go help me get my hand.
So it's the wrong way though.
Yeah, that's good. No, that's good. Yeah, look
Okay.
down here.
Okay.
So the whole finger bends, and only when it hits something does the fingertip then bend round.
Right.
Okay.
So it's
Good, back a
curling
little.
round.
Yeah.
The whole
Back
finger
just a
bends.
little farther.
And then
Okay.
Yeah, too close.
Yeah, there we go.
The fingers moving as one, and then take it all the way down. Then
Right,
right at the
until-
end, the fingertips will bend round. But if the phalanx hits an object first, then the fingertip will start bending earlier.
Huh.
Which allows it to wrap around.
Yeah, it just conforms around whatever object it is that you're trying to grip.
Okay.
And then
And
when
the-
you've got the whipple tree as well, which this hand doesn't have, then you've got all of the adaptive grip all working together in unison.
Hopefully we'll have one for the next time.
Yep.
Because we're not done printing it yet.
I'm about a day short of having this one, the other one finished.
We had one, but we gave it to John, so he's got it now.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got one of their hands too.
Right. You've got one like the purple one.
Yeah.
I just scraped a plate's worth of molten pins off my printer because it had a little accident.
Yeah, my hand has 4 fingers and no thumb, John, in case you were wondering.
Right. Okay.
Oh yeah, you're missing
I
a pinky.
do that again. Interesting.
Yeah, I've got a radial club arm, meaning I don't have the radius, but I do have an ulna. And so I have no wrist rotation on the left arm. There's some, you can see that my arm kind of bends upwards a little bit. It's kind of odd. And it used to be when I would flex my arm completely, my fingers would wrap around my forearm right about here. We did a lot of really complicated surgeries, including an Ilazarov's device, which is a metal frame with pins that go into the bone, a lot like a halo when you break your neck, but for like forearm or for legs or for whatever else. And we broke the bone in a couple of spots, and then every day I would take a wrench and lengthen my arm about 1 millimeter. And you can stretch bone in a break kind of like taffy if you go slow enough. And so we added about 5 inches to the length of my arm.
Wow. That's
about,
way more than I would have thought you would have been able to.
Yeah,
5
it's more than
inches.
half the length of my arm is added.
Wow.
Which is why my fingers are curled over as much as they are now, because the tendons are a lot tighter than they used to. And my fingers used to kind of stay like this. It was hard for me to pull them down. I didn't have a lot of strength that way. So they would extend automatically just from tendon tension. Now that things have been lengthened, I've lost that automatic extension, and I haven't figured out which muscles to flex to extend them on their own. So all extension is done when I push it against something. I can wrap my fingers around things pretty easily. I've got a fairly good grip on things. I can do things like this, where I can wrap around things, or like this the other way if I want to wrap my fingers around things.
Okay.
But I can't let go of things very easily by myself. I have to grab it with my other hand and pull it away. And
so you're, I think, the extenders.
Yeah, I can't.
Not right at the
moment. I don't know if I lack the muscles or if I just never learned to use them because I never needed to when I was little.
So how long ago did this arm lengthening happen?
I probably let's see. That was probably 94, 95.
Okay, so this is not a recent. This
No,
didn't
not
just
a
happen.
recent
Like, okay, interesting.
Yeah, this was when I was a kid, and I was still involved.
How long did it take?
It took
How long
about
did it take?
4 months to get the length, and then once we got to full length, we were noticing that the bone was getting thin, so we adjusted the device and did back pressure to thicken the bone again. And then after about a month of that, we left it sit. And we left it sit until the rest of the year had gone out. We had the device on for a full year. Which is a little awkward. It's a heavy block of steel with pins going and carbon fiber. And the really awkward part is that it conducted heat right into your skeleton. So I had to wear a pillowcase over it when I was going to be out in the sun for any length of time, because otherwise it was like having a fever. And I got bumped into at a dance one time and just about blacked out from the pain from it.
I could see pins going into your arm being painful.
Yeah. And I was on methadone for pain control, so.
Interesting. I didn't even know we could do that as a human race or as a society. I had no idea we could lengthen bones like that.
Yeah, crazy Russian mad science from like the 1960s, 1950s. In Siberia, where parts are hard to get to, and it's really cold, so it's hard to, work with things like plaster. When people would break a leg, he needed a way to cast the leg back together, and so he started making things with bicycle parts, where he would run a bicycle spoke through the bone, and then a bicycle wheel around it to pull tension on it. And then he would put a couple of wheels on different parts of the leg, and once it was all in place, then he would fixate it with with like rods of steel and things like that. Parts that could be reused and parts that were easier to find, and you didn't have to rely on warm temperatures and dry conditions for them to set. And found that once they were using the Elizarov's device, you could get bones to set a lot faster than with and you could do things like change the length by stretching it or compress it to increase the density. And compressing it to increase the density also increases the speed with which the bone heals.
Nice.
So there's a lot of
I
cool
had
things
no idea.
involved with it.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting stuff. And let's see.
Yeah, my dad's girlfriend, she broke her neck kind of, and she had to wear a halo, and she used a bone stimulator device to help the bone heal up so that she didn't have to have surgery. She had the thing on for a year, but the bone stimulator did what it was supposed to do, and she never had to have surgery.
I had a bone stimulator for a while, but it didn't do anything. I shattered my ankle at one point, and they were like, "Wear this," and I wore it, and then 6 months later, they were like, "Well, we're gonna have to take apart your ankle to figure this out." And so
Did spell it wrong. Okay.
almost worked.
If you are searching for this technique, I spelled it wrong in the sidebar, but usually it's well enough spelled to find the actual device.
Yep, I got it. I have seen these, or sort of. I've seen stuff like this for people who've broken. I never knew what it were, though. I had a friend seriously shatter his elbow in elementary school, and he had some pins in one of these structures. But I didn't know you could actually like adjust the lengths of things. Makes sense, right? Like you can adjust the length of anything, try hard enough, but.
Kids in I was a Shriner kid, so I was at the Shrine Hospital in Utah, in Salt Lake. And a lot of the kids that were there with the Elizarov devices on their legs were having a leg lengthen because they had damaged a growth plate on one limb or on one bone or something like that. And so they were using these Elizarov fixators to add length to their legs so that their legs would be the same length as each other, so they could walk with a more even gait without special footwear. And
oh God, it looks awful.
yeah, it's painful stuff. The stuff I was doing was fairly radical. It had not been done before. I was a lab rat for that because they had never done a lot of lengthening with the forearm, because the concerns were that there are a lot more soft tissue and a lot more complicated parts in a forearm. And so they were worried about losing motion or damaging tendons or things like that. So they were actually really surprised by how much length they were able to get with my arm. And one thing that they were also doing.
Keep going.
Oh, one of the things that they were doing with me is that they were straightening at the same time as they were lengthening. So my hand used to curve so much that it would wrap around my forearm or my upper arm, but they've straightened it quite a bit and lengthened it. It's still got a lot of curve to it, but it's much longer and much straighter. Actually, it used to curl like 180 degrees, and now it's a lot more usable. You can see a lot of scarring. You can see pen scars where the pens would go in. You can see some up here. I took most of the pens out myself when we were done. With a wrench and just twisting it out. It's
How did that feel?
Not as painful as you would expect up until the last bit where it goes out of the skin. When it's brushing by the skin with the edges, that hurts because you have more nerve endings in the skin than you do deep down. But when you're just unscrewing it and it's still attached to the bone, that didn't hurt too much. That was just rotation, and the same thread was in contact with the same bit of skin, or the threads were moving a little bit against the skin, but there's not a lot of resistance, or not a lot of, so it would just unscrew nice and quickly. One of the pins in this area or up here broke loose inside and was causing a lot of pain while I was here in Arizona, not able to get to the Shriners Hospital up there. And rather than putting me on a plane to get me there, they just gave me permission to use a wrench to take the first one out all by itself, and that came out pretty easily. And then we applied bandaging over it and made sure that it was sterilized pretty well, and that healed up really quickly.
Do you just go to like Home Depot and you're like, this is a 1/2-inch like box wrench and I need to go get this?
Yeah. Well, I had the wrenches for adjusting the length anyway, and the same wrench matched the pins that were going into the bone. So So yeah, we did a lot of stuff like that. So another thing that we had is we used the thermoplastic to wrap around the plastic, or around the carbon fiber frame that I was wearing, and then like a wire that went over and back down, and then elastic bands that went up and over, and then wrapped little leather loops around my fingers to stretch my fingers out to try to get more of to make sure that the tendon growth wasn't damaged.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Very interesting.
So, and I used to take, when I had access to erector sets, I would add parts to my arm just to make it a little bit.
Of course. Of course.
I was 18 at the time, but I never really grew up.
I don't think we all have grown up. I surely haven't. I hope not.
What does it say in the Bible? Thou shalt not commit adulthood? Or am I misreading that?
That might be in there.
And my right hand has a lot of things different about it too, mostly with the thumb. They took the tendon that goes to this knuckle and rerouted it to my thumb because I didn't have any of the muscle connections to move my thumb around. So now you can see the line through here is the tendon that used to go to the ring finger. And that's where you start learning firsthand about, or where I started learning firsthand about neuroplasticity. And because there was a time when I would move my fingers down, but if I tried to move this finger, my thumb would jump over because they were attached to the same set of muscles, and I had to relearn how to remap the nerves and retrain the muscle memory. So now I can move the finger and thumb independently of each other.
Fascinating. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, I've been playing with thermoplastic since I was 3 or 4, with splints and things like that for my arm, and so that's why a lot of B65000 posted some stuff earlier and asked me some questions on our last Hangout about the thermoform or the thermoplastic stuff we were doing, and he pointed out that we had been talking about using boiling water to melt or to get the plastic to bend, and how they had to be very careful when they were doing it because the dovetails that the Whippletree box was being threaded onto had a tendency to deform if you try to use a heat gun to reform it. So we invited D65000 to join us because he had posted some commentary on that where he was using a paste that heat conductive paste that would pull the heat away from it. Yeah, we're not hearing you at all. So yeah, you might need to, yeah, with ABS plastic. Okay, cool.
I just posted his post.
It was something to use for plumbing.
Yeah. Yeah, stuff that's used when you're doing plumbing and you don't want you want to be able to heat one part of the object. Yeah. You don't want the heat to transmit to the rest of it.
Thermal paste.
Yeah, thermal paste.
Yeah. I mean, we do it a bit differently, but we were using PLA because we did it with boiling water, but we did the dip technique so that you don't deform the dovetail.
Right. And he was suggesting using a thermal paste to avoid deforming the dovetail.
Which is an interesting way to do it.
Yeah.
Here's his post.
Oh, thank you, Lydia.
Let me know when you want me to scroll down to the comments.
Yeah, I thought the idea of just dipping one end in the hot water and bending it seemed to be pretty good to work out.
Yeah.
The other thing is, if you're careful with the heat gun, you can focus where the heat goes, and just bend on the edges.
How hard is it?
Well, it's kind of getting to the witching hour. I think I'm going to call it a night. You guys have fun.
If you want to respond in the sidebar chat, how hard is it to clean off the thermal paste when you're done reshaping things? Just wash off with water, or do you have to scrub it off with detergent or something?
Good night, Rod.
Good night, Rod. Water soluble. Okay, cool. Nice. Easy to clean off.
All right. Good night, Justine and John.
Good night.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. John, if you get a chance, add me to your circles because I wasn't able to send the invite directly to you tonight. You didn't show up in the list of. There's a lot of John Diamonds on this site,
I'll
but
get him
you
to
didn't.
do that. I'll help him because I know I'll help him.
Yeah.
All right. Good night.
Good night, Justine. Good night, John.
Good night, John. So, and Evan went somewhere, so.
Yeah, he walked away. I'm going to go ahead and shut down the broadcast.
Okay.
Went through a lot. It was kind of a slow call today, but we had. It was good to have the chance to talk to Evan once he was able to join.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Okay. I have to go, but I am back.
Fair enough. I was about to stop the broadcast anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and go offline. If you want to talk for a second after we're not live.
I'm good for right now. I'll send you